If you've tried meditating your way out of burnout and it just didn't work, this video is going to explain why and give you something that actually does. This is a somatic nervous system reset, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what your body needs when your brain has already tried everything else. If you appreciate this type of content, gently tap that like button. Let's get into it. So here's the thing nobody tells you about stress. You can understand it perfectly. You can name your triggers, journal about your feelings, listen to every podcast on burnout, and still feel wired and exhausted at the same time. That's because stress doesn't just live in your thoughts. It lives in your body. Specifically, it lives in your nervous system. And your nervous system doesn't read books. It responds to sensation. That's what somatic means. Not another word for relax. It's a fancy way of saying through the body. Somatic work skips the thinking brain entirely and talks straight to the part of you that's still bracing for something bad to happen, even when you're sitting on the couch doing absolutely nothing. Here's why this matters so much for women in midlife specifically. By the time most of us hit our 40s and 50s, we've spent decades running on a low hum of vigilance. Work deadlines, kids, aging parents, a body that's changing in ways nobody warned us about. Your nervous system has been in a state of stay alert for so long, it doesn't know how to downshift anymore. And no amount of positive thinking fixes that, because positive thinking is a top-down approach. It talks to your brain. Your nervous system needs a bottom-up approach. It needs to feel safe in your body before your mind can actually settle. This is why you can have the most productive, put-together day of your life and still lie in bed at 11 p.m. with your heart racing for no reason. Your circumstances say you're fine. Your nervous system didn't get the memo. I know this state myself. I'm usually sitting quietly doing nothing in particular, and then someone else walks into the room, loud, sudden, taking up space, and my whole body tenses. It's like I'm in a cage and I can't get out. Every part of me is screaming to leave, but I just sit there, stuck. For a long time, I thought it was me being oversensitive. But that's not oversensitivity. That's a freeze response. Your nervous system hears a sudden change in the room, noise, movement, someone else's energy, and it doesn't ask permission before it locks you in place. It's not a character flaw. It's biology reacting to a shift in your environment before your thinking brain even catches up. The last time it happened, here's what actually got me out of it. I didn't wait for the feeling to pass on its own. I forced myself to physically leave the room and go do something productive just for me. I went and cleaned up my office space. That's it. That's the whole move. Not a big resolution, not a deep conversation, just removing myself and giving my body something small and physical to do instead. And that's exactly what a somatic reset is. Your nervous system doesn't need you to understand the cage. It needs you to physically get out of it. Quick break. If you want a weekly breakdown of tools like this delivered straight to your inbox, I write a free newsletter every week at clarityreset.org. It's short, it's practical, and it's exactly the kind of thing that pairs well with a video like this one. Link is in the description and pinned comment below. Okay, now back to it. So, what does an actual somatic reset look like? Not an app, not a 10-minute meditation you fall asleep doing, an actual reset, because your nervous system needs signals, not ideas. Here's what the research actually points to. Somatic regulation usually falls into 3 categories: movement, breath, and touch or pressure. You don't need all 3 every time. You need whichever one meets you where you are in that moment. Movement means shaking or walking or gentle swaying. literally letting your body discharge the activation instead of holding it. Animals in the wild shake after a threat passes. Humans mostly don't because we think it looks strange. But that shake is your nervous system completing a stress cycle instead of storing it. Breath means specifically longer exhales than inhales, something like a 4 count in, 6 or 8 count out. That extended exhale is what tells your vagus nerve, we're safe now, and starts shifting you out of sympathetic activation and into your parasympathetic system, the rest and digest side of things. And touch or pressure means things like a weighted blanket, a firm hug, or even pressing your own palm against your chest. Deep pressure activates a calming response in a way that's almost immediate, which is part of why a good hug can shift your whole state in seconds. Now, let's walk through what this actually looks like in practice, start to finish, because I don't want you leaving this video with information and no plan. Say it's 3 p.m. and you notice your jaw is tight, your shoulders are up by your ears, and you've read the same email 4 times without absorbing a word of it. Here's the full reset. First, name it out loud, even just in a whisper. I'm activated right now. That single step interrupts the autopilot loop. Second, stand up and shake out your hands and arms for about 20 seconds. Genuinely, like you're flicking water off them. It'll feel silly. Do it anyway. Third, do 5 rounds of the 4 in, 8 out breath, ideally with your feet flat on the floor so you have a physical sense of being grounded. Fourth, place one hand flat on your chest and one on your stomach and just hold that pressure for 30 seconds while you notice your breathing under your palms. That whole sequence takes under 3 minutes, and it's not a mindset shift. It's a direct message to your nervous system that the threat has passed and it's safe to stand down. The point isn't to do this once and be fixed forever. The point is repetition. Every time you complete that cycle, you're teaching your nervous system that it's allowed to come back down. And over time, that becomes easier and faster. If this is resonating with you and you want to go deeper on why your planner or your systems keep falling apart, even when you're disciplined, I made a video on exactly that called Why Your Planner Never Sticks. You can check it out by clicking right here. And next time, we're going to dig into something a lot of women in midlife are quietly asking themselves. Is what I'm feeling burnout, perimenopause, or something like ADHD that just never caught up until now? That one's coming soon, so keep an eye out.